Morning. Hello, everyone. I'm Rita Wolfson. I'm the founder of the Financial Social Work discipline and the Center for Financial Social Work. I'm very excited about our webinar today, the Financial Literacy Conundrum. As I've explained in past webinars, I may start out with one idea, which often takes on a life of its own and morphs into something different. And thanks to my co-presenter and our consultant at Financial Social Work and the wonderful woman who is helping us to really expand financial social work, that is Dorlee McCauley, although I know her name is really, her last name is pronounced a little bit different, but that's how I'm going to go with it today. And maybe when she takes over the slides, she can share that last name with you. Dorlee is a recent graduate from NYU's Silver School of Social Work. She's currently consulting for both the Center for Financial Social Work and the University of Buffalo School of Social Work. Dorlee is also pursuing a certificate in advanced clinical practice at NYU. Prior to obtaining her MSW, she earned an MBA in marketing and worked in the marketing research field. And she brings so much to the Center for Financial Social Work and to all of our students and graduates. And we're so thrilled to have her be a part of financial social work. The way that this webinar evolved the past week or two was to include some of the research that Dorlee put together. The Financial Social Work was invited to be a part of the Oxford University online social work encyclopedia that I imagine will come out sometime later this year, and Dorlee was instrumental in putting together our entry for the encyclopedia. So let's get started. So about our webinar, we'll start with a brief overview of anti-poverty programs and move on to financial literacy and financial capability. Pretty sure everyone on this call knows that April is Financial Literacy Month, and that's why we've been doing so many different activities through our social media and everywhere we can to provide the information people need around financial literacy. So then we'll talk about what is the financial literacy conundrum and how does it impact the lives of people living in poverty or struggling with financial problems. We will look at what works best when teaching financial education, and Dorlee will be our expert there. Then we'll talk about accessing the post-test for the 1CE and the fact that you can anticipate getting the recording of this webinar a little later today. Then we'll also introduce next month's webinar topic, which is just as exciting for me, but kind of different. Then Dorlee will talk to us about moving beyond financial literacy. And originally, the special announcement and the 3 contest winners were going to be announced at the end of the webinar, but rather than keep you all waiting, we decided to announce them up front. So we will stay with you to answer any questions you have. And a quick look at, for those of you who may be new to our webinars, up in the right-hand corner, you should have a box, probably or may look a little different than this, but basically there's a space to enter your questions. You can hide that toolbar by double-clicking the red arrow. You probably have decided already whether you're listening through your computer or the telephone or a headset. And finally, I will be asking questions throughout, and you can use the question box as an answer box. Sometimes I do call it an answer box. So We will also be asking you to raise your hand in that box up in the corner. You should be able to see where you can do that. And we have just a few polls for you today. And as I said, we will stay with you till the end, till you've all asked your questions. So to begin, I'd like to find out as best I can with the limited options with the polls. Let me find my polls. Who is in our audience today? So I'm going to open this poll, and I tried doing it a little differently to include a few more categories. And traditionally it seems that those of you who don't feel you fit in a category, type it into the question answer box. And I'll take a look at that also. So a little over 60% of you have voted. You know, obviously this is all anonymous. I will give you a few more seconds. 70% of you. A few times a year I do get 100%. I don't think I've had 100% participation this year, but I'm always open to it. So we're at 75%, and I'm going to count it down, and then I will close the poll and share it with you. So I'll go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We had 76% of you vote, and I will share the responses with you. So we have community action staff, but the majority of you are telling me that you work in not-for-profits providing financial education and asset building, which really isn't a surprise when our topic is on financial literacy. Whoa, a lot of you wrote in. Okay, so question, am I recording this? Yes, we are recording it, and you will get that link later on. If you're ever uncertain whether to register for one of our webinars, because you don't know if you'll be able to attend, by registering, you assure that you will get the link to the recorded session, and then can watch it at your leisure. Not that I think anybody on this call has much leisure time, but plus all of our webinars from the past few years are on our Facebook page, and you can go through those when it's convenient. We don't send out copies of the presentation. So we have social work students, we have some VISTA workers, AmeriCorps, a financial coach, an educator, a CPA, a business owner, college advisors, foreclosure prevention specialists. So social worker, life skills instructor, social services, okay, military, so government, okay. I'm limited to the 5 choices, to offering you 5 choices, so that makes it difficult. But now we have a sense who's with us today. And so the moment you've been waiting for. We had hundreds and hundreds of entries. I want to thank all of you who entered. We did only, have 3 winners, and here they are. Okay, so here are our winners. If you're here, you can definitely let me know in the answer box, but we will be emailing each of our winners, congratulating them, and also letting them know how to access the free certification that they won. But for those of you who didn't win, we have let's see. Oh my goodness. Okay, someone just told me that, thank you for telling me that. I did not close Thank you so much for telling me that. No wonder I'm not getting any response to the winners. Let me close that poll. Well, I could have just done the whole program and you wouldn't have seen any of my slides. I think I'm okay now, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, so let's try this again. Okay, we did that. Okay, drum roll, and here we go. Here are our winners. And I hope that I'm hearing some very happy people. But if you're not here, you're probably not going to be. Okay, so thanks for letting me know that we're working okay now. So again, these 3 people will receive a congratulations email and also the login information. Okay, so Sean is here. Congratulations, Sean. I hope you'll use this well. Some of you wrote in, yay. Okay, that's good. Okay, but not everyone could win, but we do have another very special announcement for everyone. And so it is that from today until the end of the month, we are offering a $150 off the cost of financial social work. The certification is $495 when you take off the $150. It will be $349. There are a limited number available, and it's 1 per person. And we will go as far as we can to April 30th. So now, if you want to take advantage of it, this is just a screenshot, so you know that. Also, I wanted to show you, you have to enter code FSW, whoa, there it is, FSW 150 at checkout to receive the discount. And Eric was kind enough to get me this screenshot so you can see that you would click on register. And when you were on register, you would see that you can enter the coupon number right there. So we are here to do a webinar on the financial literacy conundrum. And I start out by asking you whether you think financial education can help to end poverty. And that's part of what we'll be looking at today. So I wanted to start out by talking about some of the social programs that we have experienced or know from the beginning of social programs. So poverty and money problems, sorry about the ringing phone, have been addressed in a variety of ways over time. And I'm assuming that, you know, most of you are familiar with these, but I did want to just review them quickly. So beginning with the Great Depression in the 30s, social services were provided through the welfare system. And originally, they were open-ended. This just gives you a glimpse of, unfortunately, how things have changed, and unfortunately, you know, they haven't changed for the better. 1996 welfare reform changed a lot of things. It was called the Personal Responsibility and Work Opportunity Reconciliation Act. And here you can just see some of the key points to that act and how it did change welfare. It gave control of the system to individual states, and we see a lot of states being given more control of various programs these days. It provided short-term cash assistance. It was to help people find jobs. So financial literacy is very information and knowledge driven, and it's about money management basics. Financial education is the method for helping people to improve their financial futures. It's how we pretty much teach financial literacy. Someone wrote in, congratulations to the winner. Jim, you wrote in, or anybody else's slides messed up. I hope that's taken care of now. Someone just wrote in that people in poverty have to work and do more than just attend financial education. Well, that's absolutely true. Absolutely. Nothing so far has said anything different than that. So I just wanted to give you a brief overview that financial literacy really wasn't introduced until the year 2000. When I started this work for doing webinars for Financial Literacy Month last year, I was really surprised by that. I really thought it had been around longer. And here you can see the dates of when it became, official. But what's most interesting to me is that President Obama created the Advisory Council of Financial Capability in January 2010, and last year he changed the wording of Financial Literacy Month to Financial Capability Month. However, that memo, so to speak, it just, for some reason, it really hasn't caught on. Financial capability has not caught on. Anywhere you look across the internet, and you can let me know if it's true in your agency, but it is still very much called Financial Literacy Month. So financial capability, though, is measured, and so here, just to show you the difference between the financial literacy and the kind of quote-unquote accepted view of financial capability. Financial capability is measured in terms of how well people make ends meet, plan ahead, choose and manage financial products, possess and utilize the skills and knowledge to make financial decisions. So it includes, financial capability includes financial literacy, savings, access, social influences, emotions, consumer protection, and behavior. Now I actually expanded this just today. I was working on it all right up to the last minute. And, but in most lists that I come across or topics that I come across, behavior is down below. But those of you who regularly attend our webinars or are familiar with financial social work know that I would make one very basic change here. And that would be to put behavior right at the top of the list. Be that as it may, how many of you prefer financial capability to financial literacy according to the way I've just described it? You should be able to raise your hand up in the right-hand corner, and let's see how many of you like financial capability. Oh, a lot of you like it. Interesting. It took me a while to really wrap my head around the concept of financial capability, to be honest with you. We are at about 30% of you liking financial capability over financial literacy. We're over 30% now. So if I can figure out how to take down those hands, I can continue so we can ask another question later. Okay, well, let's keep going. So what does oh, somehow I am missing a poll. Okay, I wanted this poll before that last slide, so pretend you didn't see that last slide. Let me do this poll. Oh, someone is saying she can't hear me. Can most of you hear me? Twirly, can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you very well.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry for the person that can't. Let me find this poll and let me see. What does money management mean to you? Okay, the poll is open. You can pick multiple answers here. Okay. Over 48% of you have voted. We'll give it another few seconds. Interesting. Okay, we're at 73, 74%, 75. If you want to vote, go ahead, and then I'm going to count it down. 5, 4, 3. Last chance if you want to vote. 2. Come on, one more person. Or 1 or 2, and we'll be over 80%. Okay, we got to 80%. I'm closing it. Okay. All right, and I'm going to share the results, and hopefully I will remember to hide them when we're finished. Okay, so a majority of you felt that having savings, reducing debt, and building assets were very important. Interesting that you didn't consider investing so important. As I created this poll, I was actually thinking about what does money management mean to clients? And I was worried and thinking that, you know, they might feel investing, which would be so far removed from, you know, where they are. And it's probably very far removed from where many of us on the call are. So I closed that, and I'm just going to go back up to the previous slide, because I think if we can help clients to understand that managing your money doesn't require anything more than paying attention to where your money goes, how, when, and why it goes there, and whether where it goes is by choice or by chance. So I think that simplifies it in many ways. But regardless of what we call it, financial literacy, financial education, financial capability, I do believe that it's really important, and we need more of it, and the conversation about it needs to change. We need to find a different and better way of working with clients around financial literacy, education, and capability. And the thinking needs to change. And that's really what we're looking at in this webinar today. And so for me, the financial literacy conundrum is about why the value and efficacy of expanded money management knowledge and skills is questioned rather than actively brought to scale. So I copied some of these headlines and a little bit of these articles about, you know, why financial literacy doesn't work. And there's more than a few across the internet. But we're going to focus on something different today. And to do that, I am going to hand this off to Dorlee. And okay.
Did it work?
Mm-hmm.
Super. Sorry. Okay, so is there a need for financial education? Absolutely. Basically, the costs for purchasing many of the components, if not all, of the American dream have increased significantly over time, particularly housing and college. Just to give you an idea, if you kind of look over time between the years of 1997 and 2009, housing costs alone have gone up by 97%. Private college tuition has gone up by 113%. Public college tuition has gone up by 80%. So costs have gone up tremendously. And as you all know, sorry, it's freezing on me. Hold on. I'm sorry, what did you say was the trick with the arrow?
Try clicking on the slide, Dorley.
Okay, thank you. And as you all know, we're currently in the midst of an economic downturn, which unfortunately is projected to continue for another couple of years. And this leads us all to basically face an increased risk of job loss or a decrease in income. In addition, more Americans are experiencing a financial crisis, and we'll go over a couple of examples of this in a minute. So, as a result, all Americans, regardless of their current socioeconomic status, have a greater need for financial knowledge and investment skills. And this is primarily because of the financial deregulation process that started back in the 1970s, and it basically led to an explosion of financial products out there. So we need to know more, and there's just so much choice in terms of what's out there. In addition to that, we're expected to be much more self-reliant in terms of our management skills, both in terms of managing our current expenses.
Excuse me, Dorley, have you advanced any of your slides?
Yes, I'm currently on it. Is there
No, I don't have numbers, but Dorley, I'm getting feedback. Your slides aren't advancing. I think you need to put it into the slide mode.
Into the slide mode? In other words, to go back, to escape, and then to go back like that? Would that help? Do you see now all Americans need to have greater financial knowledge?
No, no. Do you want to hand it back to me and I'll advance your slides?
Sure. So change presenter. Okay. Did it go to you?
Show my screen. Yes. Okay. So this is where we lost you, Dorley. So.
Okay. Sorry.
Okay. So you talked about the current economic downturn. Yes. And that most Americans are experiencing financial crisis. Is this the slide you were on?
Yes, yes, thank you.
Go ahead.
Okay, so basically right now, less of our retirement planning, less of our retirement income can be covered by Social Security or defined benefit pension plans, and we have to rely more on our own personal savings or 401k type plans. And we also need to cover our own college tuition costs and insurance costs and long-term care and disability costs. So all of that, it's all falling on us. So we need to be much more careful and much more sophisticated in terms of our money management skills. Okay. So, and here we have some examples of just how we are experiencing financial crisis nowadays. So you have over 1.3 million people have filed personal bankruptcies in 2011, and nearly a quarter of 50 million residential mortgages in the U.S. are currently underwater. In other words, the amount owed on those houses or apartments exceeds the actual value of the house or apartment. So that's really sad. And the average credit card debt is $6,500. So there's definitely a need for financial education. But the issue is that measurement and evaluation of the various programs for providing financial education are a challenge. So what does this sentence mean, causality between financial knowledge and financial behavior has been established? It basically means that we've been able to show that when people know more information, that in other words that they know that it's good to save and it's good to reduce debt and it's good to keep to keep your checking account and kind of like the good money management behaviors and have more information about financial instruments, you're more likely to engage in those types of behaviors. So we see that there's a more likely kind of relationship. But we haven't been able to actually prove that having that information actually leads you to engage in those behaviors. And that's I guess, the frustration.
I'm not going. I can't ask the audience to raise their hands because I can't eliminate the hands that were raised before. Okay, I'm sorry. So let me go ahead to the next one. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay, so some limitations or obstacles to program evaluation are dealing with the, I'm sorry, I don't know what to do with that phone thing.
Don't worry about it. Let's just keep going.
All right. Have to do with the fact that if someone basically is illiterate or has difficulty reading or writing, that then they're going to have difficulty basically with money management issues just kind of automatically. Secondly, with respect to behavioral changes, a person filling out those surveys after they've participated in a study, you probably want to click.
Yeah, right. Sorry.
That's okay. So when they've participated in a study, after they've participated in a program, they're kind of saying, yes, now I'm saving, 10% of my income, let's say, for retirement and whatever, X% of dollars for a rainy day fund. In reality, they're probably saving a lot less. So that's one issue that is an issue with measurement and evaluation. Another concern is the fact that basically the results of one program may be very specific to that program, and when you try to kind of go and replicate some of those methods and put it in another program, it doesn't really work. It's very specific to that program. Another issue that tends to be a challenge is the fact that there are validity, selection bias, and attrition issues. And that basically is around the fact that you have to be concerned that the measures that you put in a survey really measure what they're supposed to measure, that you have the people who are participating in the study at the beginning of the study are still involved in the study at the end, and so on.
And that's important to all of us on the webinar because where I began with, it's part of the financial literacy conundrum because we haven't, as Dora Lee, as I found out by reading what Dora Lee's research for our encyclopedia article, the problem is that we do want the best methodology, but there is no true standard, although she will share some points on that in a minute. But this is part of the conundrum. It leads us to be able to, for some people to feel that we don't need financial literacy or that it doesn't work. Go ahead, Dorley. You want to do that last point?
Well, no, we can move to the next point.
Okay.
So while there isn't one recommended approach for measuring program effectiveness, the gold standard would be that you'd want to make sure that your evaluation method includes both a behavioral component as well as a knowledge component. In other words, that you're going to be assessing that a person hasn't just gained information, so that you want to make sure that they're not just gaining the knowledge, but they also have incorporated some behavioral change.
And if you take a look at the graphic, you can see some research actually went into this to show that high school students who did receive personal financial education were better off, and they say had significantly higher savings and net worth between the ages of 30 and 40. Okay, let me change it.
And now you were gonna share a fun little interactive poll.
I am. Okay, thanks. Okay. Right, you don't have to hand it back to me to do that. Okay, so our last poll is Okay? And you're right, Dorlee, this one's just for fun. So I don't necessarily expect anybody to have read the research, but I thought it was interesting. And your responses are really interesting. Okay, 65% of you have voted. If you want to get in on the fun vote here, I'm going to go ahead and give you 3 or 4 more seconds. Count it down. We're at 74%, 76. I'm going to count it down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, and I will close our last poll, and I will share it with you. And then in the next slide, a lot of you have a lot of faith in Canada, which is very interesting to me. Not so much faith in the United States. Some of you actually got it right. I don't think I ever would have. And I'm not surprised that you didn't have much faith in Mexico. So I'm going to hide that poll. I'm going to show you. It is Brazil. So good for those of you who knew. I wonder if you saw the research. Okay, so we're the 4th. And do you see that Mexico is number 2? All in all, we're not doing so great. And I can't honestly tell you whose research this is. I came across it. I looked at a lot of research in the past week or 2 for this webinar. So I did think or hope that it might be fun to share with you. And so I just thought I would share some of these infographics because they just do a nice job and make it simpler for you to take a quick peek. 1 out of 5 Americans lives beyond his or her means. Half of Americans don't maintain a budget. The statistics are kind of staggering and more than a little depressing. But research does indicate that teaching finance to students yields greater money management skills that carry on through adulthood. Another one, actually, this is the one I just showed you, but I was able to find it clearer, in a clearer version. So this is what they say happens, and I shared those resources with you because it's a lot of well-known agencies and organizations that provided this information. So 18 to 24-year-olds are the fastest growing age group filing for bankruptcy. I didn't know that before. 84% of undergraduate students have credit cards. I knew that number was very high. 40% of them charge items knowing they can't pay for them, and 82% carry a balance and incur charges. All of you on the call know that these are not good signs. 1/3 of adults report they have no savings, and less than half of adults report tracking their spending or having the B word for budget. Nobody likes the B word. And of those children under the age of 18, 1/3 want to provide those of parents with children under the age of 18, 1/3 want to provide them with college education, but haven't done anything about it. And 5% of people ages 18 to 21 are confident they will achieve their financial goals. I just think we could do so much better than this. So, actually, Dorlee,
shall I try to, you want to
no,
transfer?
you know what, let's keep going. Let's keep going.
Okay. So what do we know about teaching financial literacy? The current approach is basically when the teacher or educator is, standing in front of the classroom and, basically probably the way most of us were taught, where the teacher is the expert teaching us and we're sitting kind of passively in the chair, kind of being expected to memorize whatever the expert is teaching us. unless you happen to have had a very innovative teacher.
And I wanted to ask people to raise their hands. I figured out how to do this now. Raise your hand if that's more or less the way you do financial education in your organization or agency or with your clients. Okay, we're at about 40% of people on the webinar saying that this is how you provide financial education. Okay, go ahead, Dorley.
Okay, so the end result is basically that, you know, we, as the student, learning from the expert, we do gain knowledge, okay, and skill. But the type of change that you gain from this kind of learning is superficial and temporary change. So the
okay, I'll go to the next slide.
Yeah, thanks.
Sorry.
So contrary to the traditional approach, the recommended approach is the transformative learning model, which is actually the most established theory in adult learning education, where the educator is a collaborative learner. So it's a much more kind of equal relationship between the educator and the learner. And the end result is that you actually lead to kind of deep, long-lasting change. So it's a very different kind of relationship. And it's a psychocultural process where you're basically helping the students acquire new or revised interpretations of their beliefs, attitudes, and feelings. Basically, they've grown up in assumptions, you know, from their childhood, so that they're able to make more informed decisions. And the instructors guide their students to make self-discoveries about themselves by, you know, asking them questions, giving them various assignments that help kind of challenge these assumptions that they took for granted all their lives. The educators in this model serve as role models to the students while providing at the same time strategies and skills. And they make a point of providing opportunities to the students that enable them to feel like they're masters of those opportunities, so that they, it's in essence, they're given like little sample projects so that they can feel better about themselves. So in the case of like financial behavior, it would be like for them to come up with examples of, let's say, how they could save or cut down an expense. And when they do this in a small way, then they can feel good about themselves, and then it's something they can build upon. So it's a mastery kind of assignment, and it makes the person feel good about themselves. So, so transformative learning is a very different kind of way of thinking and doing. It's not that the educator is presenting it. They're stimulating the students to be involved in this themselves. And it involves unlearning, because their old knowledge, their prior beliefs and assumptions are being examined and challenged in light of their current situation, you know, what their current financial situation is, what they're projecting their future needs are, and so on. So they're no longer taking for granted, you know, whatever they were taught from their parents, their school, their previous mentors. They're now reevaluating things. So in addition to the use of transformative theory, it's recommended that financial education employ what's called a trans-theoretical model of behavioral change. And this is based upon Prochaska. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing this correctly, so forgive me. Prochaska, Di Clementa, and Norcross's 1992 model, which is often used within the healthcare areas such as smoking, alcohol, and drug abuse to help people change undesired behaviors. I'm just curious, because this is a pretty popular model. I don't have the ability to do this, Rita. If you could help me out. Could we like do a show of hands? How many are familiar with this model, the TTM model, the trans-theoretical model of behavioral change?
Oh, a good number of people.
Yeah?
Yeah, about 12%.
Wow. Okay. But that does mean that some of you are
15%.
not. It's okay, but some of you are not. So I'll just very briefly just explain a little bit of it so that those of you who are not have an idea of what this is. So this is basically a model to basically meet the client where they're at in terms of their readiness to change. In the pre-contemplation stage, the person has not really identified whatever issue it is as a problem. And in the contemplation stage, the person is beginning to kind of identify the issue as a problem. In the preparation or determination stage, the person is seeking out information, support, and alternatives to making a change. In the action stage, they're beginning to now make a change. And in the maintenance stage, they're basically engaging in various behaviors so as to kind of keep that change in place. And this basically means within the financial behavioral context that you would be tailoring your interventions so as to meet the client where they're at. So if they're, let's say, they are ready to begin engaging in a savings behavior, okay, in the preparation stage, so that they're in the ready mode to be seeking out information and support. So that would be the time where you'd be providing your client with that type of information. You wouldn't be providing them with the information of, let's say, alternatives about where they could put their money for savings if they're not at that point, because it wouldn't make any sense. They wouldn't be ready for it.
And also,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I just wanted to point out that down on the bottom it shows where you can exit and re-enter at any stage, and that what's really great about the model also is that, you know, it knows the model allows for relapse. It understands and incorporates the fact that people sometimes slip.
Yes, absolutely. And also, it can vary totally about each different component about the change. Like a person could be ready to change their behavior about, let's say, saving, but not ready to change their behavior about the debt part, funnily enough, even though you'd say one feeds into the other, but they may not in one person's mind. I'm just as an example.
No, that's a great example.
Okay, so when you combine the transformative learning model with the trans-theoretical model of behavioral change, this leads to deep and long-lasting personal and financial growth, the ideal situation. So it's not just, you know, financial knowledge, okay? This is the real behavioral change. And for me, personally, the most amazing thing that I found out in this research, and I think that Rita was extremely pleased as well, was that, you know, we ended up discovering that the financial social work model, I mean, this is the financial social work model, but truthfully, Rita created the financial social work model without knowing about these two specific models. But it's supported by these two specific models, which are the best learning models out there. And that's just amazing, because we're meeting the client where the client is in their readiness to change, and we are providing the client with the information in the way that will provide them that information in the way that's the most meaningful to them. And they are making it their own, and in a way that makes the most sense to them. And we're not telling them what to do. They are deciding what to do and how to do.
Which is really the essence of true social work. But Dorley is absolutely right. What I created, I had no idea it was using these two models. So as I was reading her research, I was pretty surprised. So beyond financial literacy, Dorley.
Yes. So I just thought that was really cool.
Me too, Dorley. Me too. Thank you.
Okay. So, and now for those of you who are interested in advocacy, there are some steps that we can take to empower our clients on a more macro level. And these include joining political organizations that seek to limit the political power of wealth, basically so that we can help support measures to reduce inequality. We can lobby for direct job creation by the government. We can engage in living wage campaigns to raise the minimum wage and the earned income tax credit. What else can be done? We can join unions and advocate for labor's commitment to reforms on behalf of all workers. We can press for an improved measure of poverty to increase the potential number of beneficiaries and constituencies for reform. And we can press for implementation of recently enacted consumer protection laws. Additionally, we can seek governmental funding to enable supportive financial social work services to basically be offered to greater numbers of lower income people. We can lobby for increased access to financial services and institutions in low-income neighborhoods. I'm not sure whether you're aware of this, but basically low-income people tend to be surrounded, their neighborhoods, by predatory institutions like pawn shops, payday lenders, and check cashing services. Basically the poorest people are surrounded by the most expensive institutions. They charge them with the highest rate interest. The people who can afford them the least are charged the most. And lastly, in that vein, we can engage in partnerships with bankers and other community partners to help discourage these predatory financial practices.
So we are it's getting kind of late, so I'm going to just go ahead and run through these last few slides so that we can get to your questions. And so after all of the wonderful things that Dorlee shared with us, I looked at the presentation. I said, okay, so where does that leave us? And I decided to share with you the things that I know. And it's not everything I know, but it's what I know that can fit into this presentation. So here's what I know. I know that when we're looking at financial behavioral change, it is about a person's relationship with his or her money, because that drives financial behavior, and it's financial behavior that ultimately determines financial circumstances. I know that taking greater responsibility for your financial future requires more than just learning new financial skills, and that is, of course, because it's a process, and that financial stability is a very personal, individual, and emotional choice. I didn't put in the slides today. I forgot to, but we have a brand new ebook out on how and why to engage clients in financial behavioral change. I'm really excited with it. If you haven't downloaded it, I think you can download it now from our website. If not, you can go to our Facebook page and scoot down a little bit and see when we released it last week. And of course, what I know is that behavior matters, because until and unless behavior changes, nothing changes. And so, of course, information and knowledge contributes to people feeling more confident and competent about behavioral change, but change really is about much more. Poverty and financial problems are far more complex than, for a one-size-fits-all, because each of us is different and each of us learns differently. We need, a variety of approaches. So I'm just going to wind down here by talking about how do we help clients get from here to there. Here being the financial problems, poverty, struggles, debt, or having no or low assets, to building and having assets for life. And what I know is that it's a journey which requires learning the skills and tools for creating sustainable long-term financial behavioral change. It's an outcome which results from a partnership between professionals and clients, and that goes back to what Dorlee shared with us with the transformative model about We don't tell people what to do. We give them information and opportunities to figure out how applicable it is to their lives and what's in it for them. And a lot of that is in our new ebook. So getting from here to there is about trusting our clients to know what motivates them. They do know it better than anyone else. So we need to listen to learn the best way to engage clients and work together. We work with clients. Getting from here to there is trusting that clients can and will do money differently and better when they understand what's in it for them and then have the skills and the tools to change their behavior. And getting from here to there requires clients know that financial problems and issues are enduring challenges which result from specific patterns of behavior. It isn't a specific outcome of just one behavior. And so what I know is that getting from here to there demands financial behavioral change. And for me, and for those of us at Financial Social Work, we know that financial behavioral change requires hope. It requires change as much as help. It requires healthy personal and financial boundaries and growing personal awareness and reducing stress. And as the central graphic here demonstrates, it requires being more at peace with your money. And no matter what we call it, financial literacy, financial education, financial capability, we need more of it. And you can see here on the micro, on the meso, and on the macro level. So people need three things to create sustainable long-term financial behavioral change. They need ongoing education, motivation, and support. That is the financial social work model. It's what we try to do for our students, our community, our graduates. We do it through Twitter, Facebook, our blog, these free webinars. And I know that financial social work, success happens here because it is an interactive, introspective, strength-based, heavily psychosocial model. And that's all part of what helps people create sustainable long-term change. We facilitate the choice to take greater responsibility for creating a better personal and financial future by addressing the thoughts, feelings, and attitudes that are the foundation for everyone's relationship with money. And it's financial behavior that determines financial circumstances. At its core, financial social work is about personal, professional, financial, and social change. And we have a client workbook so that agencies and organizations don't have to recreate the wheel. It simplifies helping clients to create a better, more stable personal and financial future. And I just wanted to share with you, so those of you who, one, know that you have 5 workbooks coming to you. It's an independent study course. You will have 6 months to complete it, and the final exam, you have 2 weeks to complete that online exam. Well, I think I've shared with you why financial social work works and what it can do, the value in $495 cost, but for those of you on this call, you have that FSW 150 special pricing till the end of this month. And I am thrilled, thanks to you reminding me, Dorlee, to be able to tell you that any social workers or nurses or any other professions in need of CEUs, financial social work now includes 20 CEs for our graduates in need of them, and that is authorized by the National NASW. So I just wanted you to know before I announce next month's webinar that when we do the CEs for May, after this webinar, you will now have 10 days to complete the post-test instead of just today, tomorrow, and Friday, the way it's been done in the past. And next month you will also be able to have a second try if you don't get 80% on that first exam. So we're looking forward to being able to offer you that. And our webinar next month is going to be, I think, just very interesting, a lot of fun. I'm very excited. You can register now. We are not going to start promoting it until the beginning of May. However, if you want to jot down financial social work forward webinar, that should take you to the registration. And so we are including a poll on the theme is reimagining the American dream, and we are the registration has a poll that we will share the results on at the webinar, and we're inviting you to share your American dream story, and those will be posted on our blog following the webinar, and some may be shared at the webinar next month, and you can request that they be anonymous, or we will be proud and happy to put your name with your entry. And all American Dream Stories entries will be entered into a drawing for a $100 savings bond. So now you know why I'm excited about that. And I will review. These are our 3 winners of the free 3 free certifications. I thank all of you for your many entries into the contest. We loved having you be part of it. And here once again, if you joined us late or as a reminder, there are a limited number we're offering of $150 off the $495 cost of the certification. So till the end of the month, you can get the financial social work, including 20 CEs if you need them, for $349 by going and clicking in the upper right-hand corner of our website there. You click register, and then you'll see down in a little further down, you can put the coupon FSW 150. And I think that takes us to our Q&A. So let me see what kind of questions we have here. I think we have a lot, or at least comments. Okay, now that I just lost them. Okay. So, okay. So, let's see if we have any. People need to lower their hand. Okay. I think we can. I think some of the low functional literacy is more about generational. I find many of my seniors are much better at managing what little income they have than younger folks who are on fixed incomes or low income. As Rita said in the past, value has a lot to do with it. You are right that literacy should be addressed. Education is important. Could you cite the sources, please? I'm not sure which sources you're referring to. Dora Lee is a researcher. She has sources for everything. If you want to put in what sources you're looking for, we can try and get those to you. Some financial education initiatives also measure changes in the affective domain as well as in economic condition. Is there a lot of you are asking for sources, and when I do a webinar, when you do slides, it's just not simple or easy to enter sources. So I apologize if you want sources and I don't have them. can transformative learning experience be delivered in a group model or only one-on-one? Torley?
It can definitely be done in a group model. Absolutely.
Okay, I started what we call the first forum at my son's high school for 3 years now. I get local business leaders to come talk with the students about their area of expertise, insurance, entrepreneurship, interviewing, and budgeting. We go through a real budget with the kids, providing the information. Very eye-opening, and much like the Cosby Show episode with Huxtable and Theo and Monopoly Money. My event is tomorrow, and I would love to share the pictures and files of the teens and financial literacy if you can email them to me today. What organizations are using this transformative approach? What curriculums? Well, financial social work is. That much I can tell you. Catholic Charities is using this model in their personal financial workshops. Payday lenders should be banned in their current form. I certainly couldn't agree with you more there. Unfortunately, they are forever rearing their heads. How do agencies keep up the number of people going for financial programs? They start, then attendance goes down. Well, that's a challenge for everyone. And whether incentivizing it helps, I see programs where the incentive, you have to attend all 5 or 10 sessions in order to get the incentive. But very often that doesn't work. I think the most important step in getting people to come back is in engagement, which is exactly why I wrote this ebook on how and why to engage clients in financial behavioral change. We have to engage the client. We have to get the client excited. We have to help the client know what's in it for him or for her in order for them to stick with it. Will there be any handouts? There's no handouts for today. Whoops. Apparently I put May 22nd as a Tuesday, but it's a Wednesday. It is definitely a Wednesday.
Would it help if I put together a list of the sources that I use for my section? Would they like us to? Would they like you to email them out a list of the sources for that section?
Well, that would be difficult to do. I just don't think we're going to be able to do that. I can only give a blanket apology. And when the article is online in the online encyclopedia,
right,
people hopefully can access it. When you have a person who is in poverty, state supported, how to help them get out of it? Well, that's not a simple question, and there's no simple answer. It's we have to engage them in programs. We have to have the programs that will engage them. We have to have ways for them to access the programs. It's a problem. It's a very complex problem. I've devoted the past 16 years to creating materials using the models Dorlee shared with you today, and doing everything I can to provide our students, graduates, and our whole community with the ability to do that. How can we get the client book you discussed? I believe you can download it from our website, but I'm not positive where. I know you can go to our Facebook page and go down a little because we released it last week. So it has to be on Facebook. Or you can anybody can email me, Rita at RETA@financialsocialwork.com, and I will find out where you can find it.
Excuse me. I'm not sure. Is she referring to the ebook or the one that you have to purchase?
I don't know anything. What book that you have to purchase?
You remember there is the book that you put together that people have to purchase that has so that people don't have to reinvent the wheel. right? That
Oh,
you purchased from your website.
good point, Dorley. Well, that book is on our website. It's called Taking Charge of Your Money, Your Future, Your Life, and Your Future. Yes, that is on the website, the Taking Charge. Thanks, Dorley. Dorley's research that put the 5 stages of change together. Who was that again, Dorley? Honest, Dorley, I typed that in. I don't know why it wasn't on the slide. Porchik or something?
Oh, the 1992. Hold on, I can tell you in a minute.
Okay, if you're still here, hold on, and she's going to give you that answer. We work with very low income persons, many unemployed, many underemployed. What suggestions do you have for promoting financial education to these folks? Well, all I can recommend is financial social work. Financial social work is used in psychoeducational support groups incredibly successfully. It's case managers use it one-on-one. There's mentoring programs that use it. Clinicians use it with one-on-one with clients. Same thing with, can you recommend a group model curriculum? As Dorothy shared, I created all of this without knowing that I was using, those particular models. But clearly, financial social work works because of those models. People really want quick fixes, and building assets credit requires time. Many come back. That's interesting. It's very true. We never know, the seeds that we planted, and they may grow and bring people back at another time. Oh, wow. Somebody's asking how to access post-test, which I did forget to mention. You will receive an email in about an hour. As soon as I finish this webinar, which I guess I need to do soon, you'll receive a link to the recording and a link to the post-test. And that post-test will be open until Friday, I believe, at 5 o'clock. The instructions will tell you.
And excuse me, do
Go
you
ahead.
want that source? So it's Prochaska, Di Clemente, and Norcross, 1992, and the article is called In Search of How People Change, Applications to Addictive Behaviors, and the name of the journal is American Psychologist, and the pages are 1102 to 1014. And I guess it's 47 is the, I don't remember, is this the issue or the volume, and 9.
If any of you specifically want any of Dorley's research, particularly after you go through the recording or now, you can go ahead and email me at Rita, R-E-E-T-A, at financialsocialwork.com, and I will pass that on to her, and I know she'll be happy to share it with you. So someone here asks, should we educate those in high school first? Absolutely, positively, no doubt about it, no questions in my mind. There are innovative organizations, agencies, not-for-profits, educating preschoolers and elementary school children. And that's how we do it. I mean, we should be role modeling it as parents, as grandparents, as professionals. We conduct a 14-week Financial Literacy Institute for a cohort of 20 per year. We start out with 20, and the class goes down, does decrease. Over the past 3 years, our lowest graduation rate was 14. Well, 14 is a pretty high percentage, but if you were to use our client program in a psychoeducational support group, I can tell you that you would have a high percentage of people completing it, because that's what happens using our program. I've seen it happen. What do you think about the getting ahead in a just getting by world curriculum to help folks move out of poverty and toward prosperity? I can't address it. I'm not familiar with it. would I be able to get some form of information about today's session for my staff? Well, you're going to get the link to the recorded session. You can certainly share that with your staff. And you can, share our Facebook, our blog, our website, our Twitter account, all those things with all of your staff.
And probably it's a good idea to have someone sign up and become certified in financial social work on your staff.
Absolutely. Somebody thanked you, Dorlee, for the resource and said it was a great webinar. And someone shared that her clients are impacted by addictive behaviors. We do provide a nature about which you speak. We offer support during the institute and case management afterwards. Addictive behaviors. When a client wants quick fix, in parentheses, cough, gambling, cough, any tool to discourage this behavior. The only tool, after 16 years of doing this, the only thing I can suggest, we have to help people understand how it will improve their lives. We have to find out from clients, what it is that they want. We can't tell them what to want. We can tell them, get rid of your cable. They probably won't, but, we can tell them all the things that they should do. But, we own that. We need clients to take ownership of their lives, of their futures, of their decisions. And that's what the models that Dorlee shared with you today, and that's why financial social work is built upon them. And quite frankly, we're never going to reach everyone, but each person that we do reach will impact the lives of their friends and colleagues and children and mothers and fathers and sisters and brothers. And it works, and that's really the way to do it. There is no easy fix. Everyone wants an easy fix. Well, it looks like those are all the questions, and I just want to thank everyone for joining us today. I hope that you've got what you came for, and that you'll join us back here for what I think will be a lot of fun next month at the revisiting or reimagining the American dream. Thanks, everyone, and have a beautiful day. Bye now.
Bye.